Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Late for the Party on Anchor FM. I am your host, Melodious, aka Coverboy. Man, now I know, a lot of people don't watch wrestling, but it is still a part of pop culture. But I am going to get into it in my mind, and yes, Money in the Bank was last night, and it was okay going on at first. But, it led into a terrible, terrible ending, I might add. Oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Alright, let's just get into the matches so far. The main matches that were really going on that was actually very good. The women's ladder match for the Money in the Bank, for the Money in the Bank briefcase, Bayley wound up winning. She wound up beating all of the other girls, and she won the Money in the Bank. And of course, the match between the man Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans and Lacey Evans for the Raw Championship. She beats her, but she loses to Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Championship, which was kind of whatever, but I'm not really much. Charlotte's cool, but she's won it enough times to where it's just damn, okay, got enough of them already. But it's all to the great. But lo and behold, Bayley cashes in her Money in the Bank championship. Money in the Bank briefcase right then and there, winning and becoming the SmackDown champion, which she becomes the first Grand Slam champion, first woman Grand Slam champion. So she was a tag team. She was the NXT. She was Raw's champion, and now she's SmackDown's champion. So kudos to kudos to Bayley for pulling that off. Well and right. The four women to start it all for the women's revolution, I guess what they used to call it. They've done both Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha. They've really pulled in some stops, and their NXT matches were awesome as hell, which led to a lot of changes for them to actually do a lot of stuff with them. So which was dope as hell. So kudos to that. The main matches, AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins, that was a dope match as hell. Seth Rollins wins. Good. I'm glad that there was no nobody had to be a heel in this one. I think Raw and SmackDown, they have enough heels. You don't have enough heroes. You don't have enough faces. So I'd rather have AJ Styles. I'd rather have AJ as a face. He's dope as a heel, but between both Seth Rollins and him, might as well just keep both of them as faces right now, because you got plenty of them, enough to where, especially, whatever's going on with, Bray Wyatt when he kicks in, obviously he's gonna be a heel, so either way, let's just keep the ball rolling with that. The Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens match was cool, even though everybody was a little drained out from all the previous matches and everything else, but it was still dope. Kudos to Kofi for still retaining the title. And then at the end, and then there's the freaking the 8-man men's ladder match that was going down. something happened to Sami Zayn to where he was in the back. They were under the impression it was Braun Strowman. Pretty much it wasn't. So the match continued, which is all 7. So they're all, and the match was pretty damn brutal. People getting flopped on ladders and bumps and everything else. Yeah, it was pretty intense. And, I wouldn't take a bump. I'm sorry. Look, I ain't never been in the ring before, but I know the ring is high above a couple of feet off the ground, especially if you on the top rope. If you on the top rope, you're in everything else. You on at least, 10, 12, maybe 12 feet above you basically on the stage from that point. So if you fall, and if you fall wrong, you could not only just break, sprain you won't break anything unless you land on it directly, but, you could fuck up an ankle, a wrist, a concussion, all that shit, and break something. So yeah, you could. But the match was cool. Looked like Mustafa Ali was actually gonna get it. And then, the biggest heartbreak of all, Brock Lesnar's music starts. And why in the blue hell is Brock Lesnar Money in the Bank? Why? What for? He doesn't even have to. Half the time when he gets on to do anything for WWE, he's always mainly going for the title anyway. So why the hell is he holding hostage the briefcase? That doesn't make any sense to me. That just draws away from now he can cash in anywhere else. Half the time he doesn't even wrestle on Raw or Raw, let alone he ain't gonna go to SmackDown. He really don't need to be going to SmackDown. If he does go to SmackDown, that would be disappointing, because if Kofi Kingston is still the title holder, definitely that would be messed up if they tried to pull a stunt like that to where, Brock Lesnar goes to SmackDown and now he becomes the SmackDown champion, which he's already, he's been already the WWE champion. He's already been there. He doesn't need to be Universal. He doesn't really need to. You know what would be amazing, though? If Brock wins, if Brock tries to cash it in and loses. That would be dope. It baffles me. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view was doing very, very well for itself. And I forgot and I didn't really see the show. I didn't really see the beginning for the tag team SmackDown for the tag team belts for the guys, but it looks like the Usos I think they got back the title. I'm not sure, but I'll figure that one out later on. Yeah, it's just mainly why in God's green earth would they, what's going on with Vince? Vince is already getting of age to where, he's making the decisions of, he's still making decisions. You got Brock Lesnar, who's a part-timer. When he wins the belt, he barely goes to most places unless if there's, big money on the line. Which doesn't make any sense to me. Don't get me wrong, he's supposed to be a big draw. And rightfully so. Brock Lesnar is a draw. He's a freakish of a man who, for his size, he's strong as hell, he's fast as hell, but it just takes away wrestling could be way more than Brock Lesnar. Let's just say it like that. And to me, I think if they don't do anything else, I mean, it's just like they've had a couple of slumps in the ratings and everything, because it's honestly, it's not even the booking of like Brock Lesnar, it's just the writers that make the shit shitty. Get better writers. Make the storylines for the championships worth more while. Give it more depth. You know, don't make some cornball freaking entertain like it's reality, and half the shit that goes on, just make it competitive. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think, like, when it comes down to other places like ROH and, you know, New Japan and, you know, even TNA to some degree, it's like, or Impact, you know, it may not be the fact that, like, their stories or, like, you know, but, like, their stories are good, but when it comes down to creating a actual storyline between a champion versus a challenger, that is the thing that you want to watch. And honestly, I think that's what they need to really gravitate to, and just get more competitive, exciting. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be brutally honest. I like to see AJ Styles and Seth Rollins meet up in a match and everything. I mean, those are dope matches. That was one. I mean, but I'm not saying, like, you know, you need to have show stealers every single night, but at least give some high-end matches that are gonna be, like, you know, you could talk about, or even on Raw or SmackDown, or even give it a story like how the, like, Attitude Era used to be, even though it can't be the way it was. And honestly, I say it like this, it's like, because WWE has sponsors, and a lot of sponsors are involved with, like, you know, like, it's very PG now. But also keep in mind, this is a sport. I mean, it's entertainment, but to me, it's still competitive. It's a sport. They have to be physically fit and ready to get into all these matches. So technically, you know, they really need to, like, try to really focus on that. To me, I think it's the writers that kills the story, like, these silly storylines and everything else. It seems forced. It's like not these, it's like the wrestlers can't be themselves. Like, other than, like, the Kofi Kingston and the Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins angles and all of that stuff, those were actually dope. And, you know, they could do a whole lot more with some of the other acts and some of the people that they don't even use. Like, give them a little bit of chance to shine. But either way, those are my thoughts, and those are my thoughts about that. Other than that, it ended off, I mean, it was going okay and it ended badly. But either way, this is a In My Mind segment on Late for the Party. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share, and do all that cheerful stuff. And hit me up, you guys. This is Late for the Party on Anchor FM. I am your host, Melodious, aka Coverboy, signing off. And as always, it's okay to be late for the party, but don't be late for the fun.